Hello, hello. Okay. Hey, guys. It's Benjamin Dane. I play Noah in the new epic adventure streaming series, Struck. And we are here today for our first live. I'm so excited about this because we get to share with you guys what is the latest, what's going on with Struck the series. I want to remind you guys, you'll see at the bottom here, the ticker tape. Go to strucktheseries.com for a number of reasons. Maybe you guys haven't seen the proof of concept trailer yet. It's on there. If you want to find out more about the series, we've got some information about the cast, about the team behind the series. It's all there. It's fantastic. So go there. But also, the other reason is we want you to be involved, and you can go to strucktheseries.com. Click on join the movement. When you join the movement and click join the Lightning Club, you will be involved and engaged in what we're doing to this exciting new streaming series. So you want to do that. And basically, yes, you're going to put in your email address. We don't want to bug you. We're not going to sell your information. We promise. But what we will do is every month, we will send you once a month. That's it, once a month. The latest and greatest Struck Bolt. It's a newsletter that informs you and lets you know what's going on with Struck as we develop this exciting new epic series. So that's the exciting news. You want to be updated and know exactly what is going on. Now, today, we have a great show prepared for you. We're going to show you some video that you've not seen yet. We haven't released yet. You're also going to meet Wes and Amanda Llewellyn. They are the incredible writers, producers. Wes directs Struck. They are this incredible production, creative powerhouse team that I can't wait to talk to you about. And you're going to be able to also hear and see their interview, but you're also going to be able to respond with live questions and comments as whatever strikes you and you want to get off your chest, or you just have that gnawing question that you want to ask them, you'll be able to do that. So that's exciting. The other thing today, this is even more exciting, is that we have some incredible news to share. So I want you to stay tuned. You will be the first to hear it live. So you want to stay tuned for that. After the interview, a little later on in the video, you'll be able to see that. So I want you to stay tuned and be prepared for this exciting new news. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do first is, as I said, you can go to strucktheseries.com, find out a little bit more about the series, but we're going to share with you the trailer. I want you to see a 2-minute version of the 5-minute. It's a little encapsulated, but it's going to kind of set the stage because we want to find out how it was accomplished, how Wes and Amanda, what their vision is, and what is all involved in the Struck streaming series. So here now is the trailer.
We need to get out of this storm! Maybe we should go back! No! No, we've come too far!
I thought this might be of interest to you.
The Ark. Real page turner.
Just read it, let me know what you think.
Dad, isn't this the type of thing that got you kicked out of Virginia Tech?
Jehovah is God.
Noah.
And he is bringing his judgment to the earth. He is covering it completely with a flood. He commanded me to build this ship. Burn! You know this! Maybe we should go back! Get out of here! Jimmy! I feel so lost.
We are not lost. We are together.
I could end up in a wheelchair in a year or so. I could get so bad that I can't provide for you or raise kids.
When I met you, I believed in you. And then because of who you are and how you are, I believed in Jehovah.
So if God has given you the grace to get this far, then he will give us the grace to make this work.
There it is.
So if it's up there and we find it,
Yeah?
what happens then?
We changed the world.
Okay, well, there you have it. That is an encapsulated, shortened version of the trailer, our proof of concept trailer. We're going to talk about the trailer today. We're going to talk about what the next steps are. We're going to talk about the vision of Struck the series. So you're going to hear some things you've not heard before. If you've caught some interviews, if you caught some things online, this is going to be some firsts today. So we're very excited about launching Struck Live, and we want you to come back once a month to see what's going on. We'll be out interviewing team members, actors, other partners that are involved in the Struck series concept. So we want you to stay tuned. So let me just tell you a little bit about Wes and Amanda Llewellyn. So they are, again, this incredible team. They're married, yes, and that makes them this incredible creative powerhouse. They originally kind of had the concept after Sue Ellen Roberts approached them, and with the story of John Morris, but they've been working feverishly on kind of combining everything, putting it together, creating this incredible vision for Struck. And I want to introduce you to them now. So this is Wes and Amanda Llewellyn. Hey, guys.
Hello.
So you're here. You made it. You look great.
Yeah.
You know, we did do a little test run this morning, and I didn't think Wes and Amanda knew that it was going to be live. So
Nope.
so here we go. We're just
Flippers galore.
we're just real people, just exposing all kinds of things.
Flippers galore.
That's okay. I mean, they kept their clothes on. Everything was fine, but
This time.
It was all good. So hey guys, so tell me a little bit about how all this started, because I know probably a little bit more than the average Joe, but I want the viewers to kind of hear how this vision started.
Well, so it actually started with Sue Ellen Roberts. She had approached me to help her try to put together a film project. She had not produced a feature before. I mean, she had done a documentary, and she's done a lot of TV and shows and things of that nature. But this was a little bit different, and she wanted to do a film about the life of Dr. John D. Morris. And so, I guess for about a year, she'd call me every couple of months or so, and I'd give her a list of things to do, and then she went out and did them, which was amazing. And then along about the end of that year, she said, I want to bring you on as a producer. And of course, Wes should be directing. And I was like, great. And so we kind of took off from there. And we decided that one of the things that we wanted to do is put prayer in the center of everything that we are doing. And so we wanted to launch this whole project with prayer. So we went to Texas. Were there and went to the Morris's house. They gathered about 40 or so of their friends and people who have supported their ministry in the past. And we did a prayer launch for the project. And that was where we had run into you, Ben.
Well, we had known Ben. We've known Ben for several years.
I actually taught a class with
him. Just being in the industry, doing faith-based projects, we've known him, we've known of him, we've seen his work, but we've never worked together. But Ben was there that day at the gathering, and he prayed for John, and I was talking to him a little bit, and we're just talking about the project, and he was asking questions, just curious. And as he turned and walked away, I heard God say very clearly, "There is your Noah." And I was just kind of like, okay. And at the time, honestly, we were just thinking, we were still doing a feature, not a streaming series. And so I was thinking, I'd talk to Amanda. I said, it'd be kind of cool in the feature just to have some vignettes of Noah, just to kind of see him almost like hazy, and just images more from John's mind as he's thinking back of what Noah must have gone through. And at the time, that's all we were thinking. But as we went on, God was very clear. He said, I don't just want John's story told. I want the account of Noah told, and I want it told right.
Wow.
And so we went from that to a streaming series, and we had a little opposition talking to Ben. I mean, not everybody in leadership was in agreement there, but I really felt that's what God wanted, and I kept pushing it, and literally got down to the point that I finally said to Amanda, I said, I'm not going to fight it. I don't want this to be a big argument. We'll find somebody else to play Noah. And literally the next day on our conference call, everybody was in agreement. Somehow everybody switched over and said Ben would be great.
To the Ben Dane camp, yay!
And so that's when we asked him, and I called him, and I said, Ben, this could be a few days of work shooting a teaser, or this could be a project that could change your life. And I still feel that it's already changed Ben's life. He's wearing a T-shirt there.
Yeah, he's wearing a T-shirt there with.
But
with
Ben came on, and he came on as an actor, but then he was helping us with casting and a lot of things, because we live in Georgia, and Ben lives there in Dallas where we were shooting, and he was helping so much.
Yes.
Amanda and I just looked at each other and said, Ben has to be a producer.
Yeah, that was an easy decision.
And so again, everybody was in agreement. So I think that's the neat story, is when you're obedient to God and listen to God, he doesn't just give you the one thing, he multiplies that.
Yes.
So we didn't just get an actor, because some actors just kind of, they're good, but they just show up and they do their lines for the day, and then it's like, hey, see you later, and that's fine. That's all their job really entails. But Ben has been so much more.
Yes.
And it was like you'll get an actor, but you'll get a producer, you'll get an artist, you'll get somebody who understands media. Well, all these things.
I thought it was kind of interesting, because we had actually written the promotional trailer scenes, and we did it in such a way that we were saying, what are some of those scenes that I think would really kind of set the tone of what the series is going to be about, and how we want to do it and everything. And so one of the things that we wrote in there was that after Noah gets this heavenly download from God about the ark and the mission, both Wes and I were like, there are those times when God talks to you and it's so overwhelming that you have to do something physical, something demonstrative to kind of get it out of your head, to be able to see it in a logical fashion so that you can attack the assignment and go ahead and do it. And so we kind of envisioned this moment for Noah. And so he's in his vineyard and he gets this download, and then he runs off to his workshop. And in the scene, I said he clears his table and he takes out a charcoal pencil, and he draws the form of the ark on the table. It's just so overwhelming. Well, Ben comes to us later and he goes, "You do know I'm an artist, right?" I was like,
incredible artist.
No, we didn't.
It was so incredible that you wrote it that way, and I saw it. I saw it in the sides, and I was like, oh, wow, this is cool, because I could do this. I could draw the arc, and I could, really draw the arc. They're not going to have artists.
That wasn't the only time. I'm sorry. That wasn't the only time something like that happened. We were we had three days of shooting. We had 2 days at Capernaum, and then we had 1 day at Sue Ellen's house, because that was the only other location we could afford. It was the executive producer's house. And so we're looking at the house going, okay, what can we shoot? Well, we have an office. So we have one scene in an office, and we have, what else do we have? Well, we have a nice dining room. We have one scene in the dining room. So we wrote those 2 scenes, and they both came out wonderfully.
Yes,
we'll have to show them at some point.
Yes.
But they both came out wonderful. I mean, the full scene, they're in the trailer pieces, but the dining room scene, we wrote it as the point where Dalta and John kind of decided in spite of John's illness, in spite of his MS, they were going to become a couple. And we had written the scene, and then we go, well, we should talk to Dalta and see what that moment was really like.
So we went to dinner with John and Dalta when we were in Dallas, and so both of us were just like, so what was that
what happened?
moment
What
like?
was the moment like?
She goes, well, we were sitting down and having dinner. We got mostly finished dinner, and we were like, like with a little dessert, and I'm like,
they described the scene.
And I'm like, okay. And John said, well, I told her it's bleak, and I went, oh, I'm adding that line. It's bleak. Yeah, and that was probably the only big change
we made. I mean, it was. Like I said, they described the scene we had.
There have been, just listening to this, it reminds me, there's been so many major God moves during the production of all this. And we had to quickly, once everything was kind of greenlit and we were able to get the shoot off and running, you guys were in Georgia, and Kimberly Blaquet came on board. And she's sitting over here, by the way. She's waving. But it was this big rush to get it all done, but it was just amazing how God's hand, and you had mentioned this earlier. It's so easy for me. I mean, I love being an actor, taking on someone else's skin, stepping in someone else's shoes, and the challenge of portraying that person's life and understanding, the culture, the purposes and so forth of that character. I love that. But being an actor and also being a producer in a production that I am most passionate about, that's even more amazing to me. So I'm excited that all of this is happening and that I'm involved in it with you guys, and we're creating this incredible thing together. But I will tell you too, so I can see the comments, and just remind you guys that are watching this, you can ask us any questions and we'll try to answer them. But so far, we've got Candy Rose. She's on. We've got Deborah Borsos. She's on as well. And we've got Kim Blaquet. She's here. She's live and she's commenting as well. So we can see all the comments. So just a reminder, you guys, make sure you ask us questions. If there's something burning and you just don't, you don't have that answer, maybe we can give you that answer. So let us know that. Well, we want to show some behind the scenes here in a second of really what was involved in the shooting, because I'm telling you guys, it was sheer magic on how this thing came together. And we kind of want to show you some of those behind the scenes so you can kind of see what that was like for us creating this thing. And it also shows you how talented Wes and Amanda really are. I mean, Wes, what you were able to do with a green screen and create this whole just landscape, this reality, when you see the trailer, you're going, did these people go to Mount Everest to shoot this thing? Because it looks so real.
Well, it was kind of interesting because we were on a fairly thin budget for the ambition that we had to get as many scenes done and the kinds of scenes that we were getting done and the visual effects and everything else that goes along with it. And so I ended up just sort of de facto, I ended up being production designer. Hey, and so we ended up having to do this rock wall thing, and fortunately I had amazing worker bees. They were awesome. I could tell them to do something, they were just like right on it. And so yeah, the rock wall
We did a show called It's Supernatural with Sid Roth for a long time.
12 and a half years.
And we were always doing reenactments and crazy reenactments.
Yes.
Jesus shows up in so many people's bedrooms at 3 a.m.
3 o'clock in the morning.
Or an angel. He'll send an angel
He'll send an
occasionally.
angel.
So, I mean, just the effects we had to do, the digital effects, using green screen just to create locations we couldn't go to. We just learned there's ways to shoot things. There's ways to shoot things when you don't think you can. Now we want to do the show right. We want to do it justice when we're in production. Yes. We want to go to that mount, whatever we end up shooting on. But for this, we had to do the magic and just make you think we went there.
We had to do parking lot in Texas.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. You would never know that was a parking lot. We shot that climbing mountain storm, lightning storm scene. There was just, I mean, it's incredible. Well, I'm going to share that in a minute so people can see. And this is the first time you guys are going to be able to see some of this footage here live, Struck Live. But I do want to share also a little bit more about why we're doing it the way we're doing it here. A lot of people are asking me, I've seen the trailer. I want to see when are you guys going to show this thing? Because I want to see it now. And so Wes Amanda, can you share a little bit why we're doing it this way and why we don't have a full series produced yet?
Okay, so in traditional production, Hollywood style, let's say, everything that we're doing right now would be taking place behind the scenes. It would just be with producers. It would just be with majors, studios, whoever would like to do your distribution and give you money to do that, that kind of thing. And all of the stuff that we've done so far would all be shuttered away. The public would never know about it or anything else. Angel Studios kind of changed that, and Dallas Jenkins was sort of the scion that with The Chosen to kind of break that barrier. They kept thinking, why are we waiting for studios to greenlight? We're not seeing the kind of product that we want to see and those types of things. So why don't we crowdfund and see if we can get something moving forward? So this was the basic kernel of what they were talking about, is a crowdfunding thing. And so we were very interested in that. We have been interested in talking to Angel Studios. We have had, one sort of advisory meeting up to this point. But one of the things is that the people, your audience, those people who watch things, they're the greenlighters. That's the biggest difference. And the reason why we wanted to do a promotional trailer or proof of concept trailer, whatever you want to call that, with the level of excellence, like the stuff has already been shot. I mean, this is like already an episode, and we're just like picking out of the whole series some of the scenes that we've done, when in actual fact, we were very specific about the kinds of scenes we wanted to do and just wrote those. And so we went out and we shot those as best as we possibly could with the best actors we could possibly find, especially on the budgets that we had.
Incredible actors.
We had, Ben, thank you. And also thank you to your agency. They were amazing.
Yeah.
They were just amazing.
Incredible talent.
Yeah. So we were really incredibly fortunate to have God give us the people that we really needed to do this, and with a level of excellence. And I think people are thinking, oh, well, they must have done all of this already. It's like, no.
Well,
these are the only scenes so far.
We didn't want to go to a major Hollywood studio. I mean,
yeah.
I lived in Los Angeles for 21 years. I worked in the industry, both faith-based and secular. When a studio comes in, I mean, like I said, if this was a studio project, one of the major streaming networks or one of the major networks, they would have funded a pilot. They will pour millions of dollars into something they'll produce and put together and then look at and go, we don't really want this. They have enough money to do that. We don't.
No.
But also with that money from them comes their control. If you remember, there was a movie about Noah several years ago, and it kind of left the scriptures behind. It roughly followed the scripture. I know, I mean, there's only a few pages there, and things have to be made up, but we're taking the attitude that those pages of scripture are stone. We're not moving those. We're not changing those. What the scripture says is what the scripture says. But between those stones is a lot of mortar, and we're going to have our story in that. But the studios will come in and go, I know it's chiseled in stone, but can't we just rework that a little bit, or take that J word out of the whole series? You know, do we need to talk about Jesus?
Do we need to talk about God? I mean, really, seriously, is he really?
I mean, couldn't it be just a man by his own will,
his own grit,
pulls this off?
Yeah.
That's how Hollywood likes to do it, and we want the freedom to tell the scripture as we see it, as it's written.
And that was probably one of the biggest reasons why we've kind of have gone so independent with this. And like I said, we are interested in talking to Angel Studios. So that's definitely for sure that we want to do that. But there are other people that are also looking for such things. I just want to make sure that if they are really interested, that what they will do is keep their hands off of the biblical text and somebody's life. Because the last thing that we want to do is to do dirt on anybody. Certainly not John, who was a lovely man.
And not Noah.
And certainly not Noah, who, saved the earth. So you want to be able to do justice to the material that you have, and not have to compromise because of some woke agenda or other kinds of agenda, whatever.
There is such a very, what I love about this team is that we all are on the same level, and we all have the same attitude and calling. I think it's a calling, a vision to get this thing right, no matter what.
Yes.
When you see things like other portrayals of Noah and the ark, and you see them completely go off the rails with scripture. I mean, it's one thing creating a storyline that kind of merges the scripture together, or at least highlights the scriptures or whatever. But it's another thing when you go way off base and it's not scripturally sound at all, and they create rock monsters, and Noah's trying to kill his family on the ark. You're like going, what? Where did this come from?
Yeah,
so that's something that I know that you guys are it's very close to your heart. You want to tell the story correctly. You want it to be biblically sound. And that's what I love. And really, The Chosen has done that as well. I mean, they have those stones, like Wes said, those are the scriptures, but they also have the mortar. So they've, connected the stones. Not every breath that Jesus breathed is it recorded into the New Testament. So there has to be those connecting points of story. So you see how the disciples are getting to know Christ and how all that works. And there's some humorous moments, and there's some, not some humorous moments, but you see all that stuff that you're not going to see in the Bible. And I think that's kind of where we want to take this as well.
I think one of the other things too that sort of makes this unique is the fact that we have John Morris. And John was a scientist and a geologist. He was a geological engineer. He understood dirt really, really well, and rocks and things of that nature. That was his bag. He really enjoyed that. And he always said that, the history is in the rocks. What we know about creation is been laid bare to us just through the rocks and fossils and things of that nature. But he also believed that God created the earth, and it was a young earth. And the moment he decided to make a public statement about that, he basically tanked his career. And he had a lot of opposition. I mean, a lot of opposition. And so when you start looking at his character as a person and his personal evangelism that he would do just one-on-one with people all the time. And then you also hear in the New Testament where Noah preached God for 100 years, and, got his family and their wives, and that was pretty much it on the ark. It's like, when when you start looking at some of the parallels of the things that they had to go through in order to be able to do the assignments that God had given them, all of a sudden you're realizing these two men have a lot in common.
Right.
And so we said, well, what if we were to kind of intertwine these two stories, these two lives? But what if there was a way to tell the story in which they touch and they can diverge and then touch again, and they run parallel to each other?
Yes.
And I think that that's probably one of the more interesting aspects of this, is that we're able to then bring the struggle of what Noah was going through in building the ark and coming up against the current culture and things of that nature. And also John, standing there and planting a flag for biblical truth.
Yes.
in science territory. And so there's all these very interesting kind of parallels and moments where they do touch. And so this is one of the reasons why we wanted to tell the story this way. And it also brings Noah into our moment in time.
Right.
That's the other thing.
I think it's very creative, because you've got, kind of a contemporary story, this true life story of this modern day Indiana Jones who was struck by God to really find the ark and evidence to prove creationism. And then you've got the biblical account of Noah, which has never really been told correctly. I just think it's very exciting. Now, I want to also remind everyone we've got a special announcement you're not going to want to miss, so stay tuned for that. But we do have a question from Kim. She wants to know, what other characters are you going to bring to the series? That's a good question.
Well, you've got people that are mentioned in the Bible. You got Noah, you have his wife. For some reason, we don't have her name. I don't know. You've got his 3 sons and their 3 wives. So you've got that, but then you also have the whole life, the whole 500 years before the ark even was a blip on Noah's radar, that he lived in a place with family and friends and relationships and, a whole life. And so we want to explore that a little bit. So we have this one frenemy who is somebody that Noah had grown up with. He doesn't believe the same way that Noah believes and things of that nature. So there's some friction there, and his daughter is going to be marrying Noah's son, and so this is high domestic drama. this is all good stuff.
That's the mortar we're talking about.
That's the mortar.
That's the mortar we're talking about.
Well, along that same scenario, we also have another question from Candy. She wants to know, will Cameron Arnett have a large part in this, that she just loves him?
Yes, well, he's playing Asa, who is Noah's frenemy. He's that character that is the embodiment of the wisdom of the world. He is man's wisdom. And because of that, some of the things that he says to Noah, I think are really pretty pointed. I know in the dialogue, he says to Noah, I'm going to save your life by saying no, basically. I'm not going to help you. And this is one of those moments where that is the wisdom of the world. You don't go and follow God on some crazy assignment that you know for a fact that he has absolutely given you to do. Yeah. That's not what the world says for you to do. You're crazy if you do that. You're crazy if you hear from God. You're crazy if you know. Yeah,
we've known Cam for a number of years. Mm-hmm. I've worked with him 2 or 3 times over the years, and
he's awesome.
I love working with him. He's a great actor.
So we're very excited because he actually lives rent free in Noah's mind.
Yeah, Asa.
So even after the flood is over, he's there.
He's there.
Yes.
Oh, he is there.
He's that voice.
I loved hearing that when I first heard that he was going to be involved in the actual, as a character, like Noah's nemesis, but they were friends, they grew up together. And I cannot wait for people to see that scene between Noah, the whole scene between Noah and Asa. It is powerful, and how you guys wove his character arc and his story into the biblical account of Noah. and also that they're connected because of his daughter. If she marries Noah's son, of course, their family. But what's really cool, and I don't think we've shared anything about this yet, but that incredible scene on the ark where it's after the door closes and after they set sail, and they've lost everything, and we see the humanity of Noah, and then this memory comes back, and it's Asa, and so he's there in the ark and living in Noah's mind, as you said, with the voice of the world. I just think that's incredible.
Well, it is something that I think as believers, when we're trying to follow after God the best that we can, and we're constantly testing what we hear from Him, and the world does not behave in the way that we want it to, especially when it comes down to the things of the Lord. And so there are those times that you do have to fight for every inch, and then there are other times that God just opens up doors and floods you with amazing blessings. And all of this happens sometimes even simultaneously, but to have that wisdom of the world constantly kind of pecking at him and bothering him, I think is something that we do just walking around on Tuesday. It's something that we constantly have to battle the world's input.
It's that reality. You take the veil off and you show the reality of these people, which I love because, it's more than a Sunday school story. It's more than a Hallmark movie or a Hallmark moment. These people were actually real. They lived. They were flawed people like you and I, and they had lives. They had concerns. They worried. I mean, they weren't perfect people. I mean, there's only one perfect person that walked on earth, and that's Christ. Even our most honored, celebrated biblical heroes, they were human. So, okay. So I want to show everyone, and I think we've got a couple more questions too. So I can't wait to get to some of those questions. So make sure you write down your questions in the comments, but I want to show Snow Day. This is a look at behind the scenes on how we created some of the magic that you see in the trailer. So watch this.
Hey, I'm Amanda Llewellyn, and I'm the producer and writer for Struck the series.
Hi, I'm Wes Llewellyn. I'm the director of Struck the series. Struck is the story of John D. Morris, who's a geologist, a young Earth researcher, and young Earth what?
A geologist, a young Earth creationist, an ark explorer.
Let's take 5. Let's just say 5. 5 is a good number. Struck is the story of John D. Morris, who was a geologist, a young Earth geologist, a young Earth creationist, and also an Ark explorer back in the 70s. John went to Ararat over a dozen times searching for the Ark.
What happens to them on this trip is that they get caught into a storm cloud and they get struck by lightning.
The story is they were struck standing beside a rock.
Today, we were talking about the rock wall.
So we had to build a rock wall.
We found a piece of scenery that wasn't being used, and we
covered it with chicken wire and then construction paper.
And we painted it and texturized it.
They put fake snow on it.
We put on fake snow and we did some spray fake snow, and voila, we have the rock face for that rock wall.
We have been shooting at Capernaum Studios just outside of Dallas, Texas. We took the backside of the north-facing wall of the large studio there and put up a huge green screen. So we knew we'd be in the shade. We'd be in the shade all day. It's Texas. It's 65 degrees. There's hardly a cloud in the sky. It's a beautiful day. And we have to shoot a snowstorm.
Scene 1, take 3, marker.
And we shot our scene. course, the magic, the movie magic happens there on set.
Roger! We need to get out of this storm!
And then also in post. We added more snow. We added the distant hills in the background. We added the clouds. We added the lightning strikes.
Roger! We need to get out of the storm! We're in the middle of the storm cloud! I need to find shelter! Maybe we should go back! Get out of there! No! No, we've come too far!
I'm really excited how it came out, how it looked, and this is our movie magic. I hope you enjoy it.
Wow. Wow. I love that. I love seeing those behind the scenes. It is incredible. So Wes, before you tell us, because I want you to tell us how that all worked and how we went from a parking lot to this incredible blizzard with lightning. But I do have a couple of questions here, and I want to get to those. So we've got Catherine Franco on, you guys. Catherine plays my wife, Laura, Noah's wife in the series, and she's online, you guys. So she's here. We've also got Candy Rose. She's saying, this is so awesome. You guys are amazing. Love you all. Margaret Coleman says she's enjoying the conversation. She really enjoys this. Deborah Borso says, wow. So does Catherine Franco. But Catherine had a question. I want to show this question. So she says, will each character have a storyline regarding their faith or struggle with faith during challenging times? We live in challenging times now. So
yes,
let's think about that question.
We've talked about, there was actually more than 3 climbers. There were 3 climbers that went up on the mountain that day and were struck by lightning.
And there were 2 others.
And there was 2 others that stayed behind at base camp. So when the series comes around, we want to explore those other 2 climbers. We just, for such a short trailer piece, we did not want to confuse people by having all these actors, and we didn't want to have to cast them also. But we will explore that. But when we learn more about each of these climbers, Roger is the only gentleman still alive, and we actually got a chance to meet with him in Orlando, Florida. He lives in Florida, and we interviewed him, and just an incredible man of God, and just such a strong faith. He was the youngest climber.
He was like 22.
Yeah, but he was the most experienced. But he just had incredible stories he told us. Also, JB, who was the oldest climber. He was
49.
Yeah, almost 50. He was kind of doing this as a late life adventure, and he was a very successful businessman, and he had an incredible story too. What we've heard of it, so we do want to explore all these people's faith and how they came to know Christ and how they came to be a part of this adventure. So yes, we do actually want to go back and even with Noah's family, we want to touch on that and the people, the stories of the daughters and of the wife.
Yeah. What was that moment that Noah, was it when his father died? Was it, did his grandfather tell him about God and how to serve him and how to listen to him and how to walk in his way? His grandfather was Methuselah.
Yeah.
So it's like, so you start looking at who some of these people are, and all of a sudden your cast becomes incredibly rich.
Even with John's father, Henry
Morris. He is the father of young earth creationism for the 20th century. There's no doubt. There's no doubt that
he wrote dozens of books,
and
we want to explore what he went through, because here was a man who had an established career.
He did. He was an academic.
Totally destroyed his career by saying the Bible is true, that it's a young earth.
Yeah,
there are so many rich storylines. I think
yes,
they are endless. and we are planning to recreate this magical world that no one has really ever seen before, this
No.
era that existed, because the Bible tells us that there wasn't any rain. The moisture came up from the earth, so the sky were completely different. People lived to almost 1,000 years. I mean, it was just crazy. And I love the fact that Methuselah, I just found this out, because this whole thing as an actor intrigues me, because you start doing all this research, into not just the Bible, but you start looking even deeper into what other people have found. And Methuselah's name, now he was still alive when Noah was on earth as well. And he lived to, I think, 900 and something years, or maybe even longer than that. But he was the longest guy that ever lived, I think. But his name, we have come to think that his name meant, an old guy, Methuselah. It sounds like an old guy. But what it really meant was, in God, his father was Enoch, and Enoch was taken up because he walked so closely with the Lord. He was the only man that did not die, that was taken up with the Lord. But Methuselah's name meant, when he dies, then the end will come, is what his name meant. So he died is when everything started going on with the flood and all that. So it's
argued that he died when the door was shut, because they actually sat before the rain started to come. So I mean, you start looking at how one storyline in the scripture threads into another one, which threads into another one, which threads into another one. They're also interconnected, and all of them keep pointing back to God's sovereignty, his glory, and his holiness. He had such a high holiness standard. And I think that people discount that a lot today. We don't have a lot of reverence in our lives. We don't have a lot of appreciation for what is holy. Very little in our lives are sacred. And I think that we need to start really taking that very seriously, especially as followers of Jesus Christ. We really have to start taking his holiness very seriously, especially in the world today. And I think that one of the things about this series is we're going to be able to show these people's lives and what that was like, and mirror that back to where we are today. I'm really hoping that the immediacy that people will see in what's happening in Genesis will translate to what we're doing today. And that's probably our biggest hope. Can we connect these two things together with God in the center? Are we able to point to those things that we can do that honor God as opposed to not honoring God? And
yes,
so all of these things together, all these themes and storylines, all of it together. That's rough.
Yeah, it really is thrilling. I know it's very ambitious.
Yes.
That's why we want you guys to be involved. Make sure you go to strucktheseries.com. It's right here at the bottom. Make sure you, after this interview is over, go to strucktheseries.com, become a Lightning Club member, get involved with us. We need you. We need you to champion this project. Like we were saying earlier, normally this is not shown to the public. This process, this is the proof of concept that we have online now. It's usually just
see the sausage made.
I know.
Yeah, it shows you the nuts and the bolts and how it's done. But usually that's only shown to distributors. But we're kind of opening the curtain here, allowing you to see the process. So we want you engaged. We want you on board. We want you praying for us. This is a huge, ambitious project. We need you guys. Now, I promised a special announcement, and we only have 10 minutes left. So I want to make sure we get that special announcement in. So I want you guys to look on the screen. This is when you go to the strucktheseries.com, you're going to see this. Okay. This is our website, and you've noticed that maybe if you've been there, maybe there's a new addition here. But if you scroll down, you see the series, the cast, the team, legacy, the gallery, and then underneath the gallery is merch. So the big announcement is this, you guys. We are now introducing our merchandise for Struck. And we're starting off with this incredible new collection called Struck by God. So we're very excited about this, but you can see right now there's dog tags, there's mugs, there's hoodies, t-shirts, all kinds of things. We even have like the beanies with with a palm on it, you know, for those that like to mountain climb, and we're going into the fall and we're going to the winter. But these come in a variety of different color combinations. You won't believe all the colors. There's something there for everyone. And these are embroidered with Struck by God on it. The caps also have Struck by God that's embroidered, but there's like water bottles, there's bracelets for the girls that will have a charm on it that's Struck by God. And there's bags and all kinds of stuff. I mean, you guys cannot really imagine all of the stuff. And this is just, honestly, this is just our first collection. We have another collection coming out next month that you're going to want to stay tuned to see what that is. But listen, here's the deal. With the Struck merchandise, Christmas is coming up, but you can wear your faith proudly with a statement that says, I am struck by God. And I love that. But also when you purchase any item, it actually, those proceeds go directly to fund Struck the series development. Right now, we're in the development stages of the series. So like we said earlier, you have the power to make this happen. You guys have the power. Our audience have the power to do this. So now when you purchase a cap or a t-shirt or even a mug, you can help us develop this series. So you get something in return. We take those proceeds and we take that into developing the series. So it's kind of a win-win for everybody. I'm just excited about it. What do you guys think about this?
I love it.
I got to get some of those mugs for Christmas presents.
I know. It's like I can smell Christmas time from here.
The mug's really cool. You know, it has
everybody always asks about. We had an industry meeting. You were there. It was in Dallas, and so many people came up and said, "Struck? What? Struck by lightning or struck by God?" You said, "Yes,
yes,
yeah, both."
Yes. It was that was kind of fun. That was kind of fun. The people got it like right away, and the industry folks were kind of tuned in. I was like, oh, that's good. That's good.
It's really cool. I mean, I got the Struck by God. You can kind of see it here. What I love about it is this T-shirt is it's a really nice fabric. It's a tri-blend, so it kind of stretches a little bit. But we have I think there's a long sleeve version, there's a hoodie, there's other versions. And I want to say that some of these t-shirts go up to 4XL, and there are even some 4 extra talls for those tall guys out there that want and need a shirt. So there really is a gift for everybody here. So please go online, purchase the merchandise. It really helps us. And it's just a great statement. I just love the statement. And this is something that's going to continue on. But I'm telling you, I'm not going to tell you exactly what the next collection is. Wes and Amanda know, so don't say anything. But the next collection is really fun and exciting. It's a whole different series of merchandise. But I'm telling you, this is going to be fun. This is a great project, you guys. I'm so excited that we're all doing this together. But tell us real briefly, I know we didn't get a chance to talk about it, but tell us a little bit more. Tell us a little bit more about in 1 minute, because I've got to ask you 2 very important questions before we go. But tell us really quickly how some of that magic was created, Wes.
Like I said, when we started this whole endeavor, God said to me very clearly, he said, uniquely qualified and completely inadequate. And that the first part is a compliment, and actually the second part is not an insult, because that's how God likes us to be, is inadequate. So all the glory goes to him. But so many years, like I said, of doing green screen and learning to composite, because I started doing it because we didn't have the budget to hire anybody else. We were doing the Sid Roth's Supernatural. I was the one who was doing the editing. I was the one who was doing the compositing, putting those effects together. So when we had this challenge, I knew what to do. And it was really funny on the set because I could see it in my head. I could see everything together. And we were shooting the wide shots, and the crew was kind of wondering what was going on. But we actually had potato flakes blowing on the people. So that helps so much, is when you can combine the real with the digital. I used elements which I bought from a company online, which was actually real snow. They'd filmed real snow, and we put them all together. But once the crew saw that close up and the snow, the potato flakes, snow hitting them and bouncing off their face and their clothes, they all of a sudden they could see it. They were into it. They got it. They knew this was going to be magic.
Yeah, it really is magic. I mean, once I was there on set, I saw it. I was like, this looks kind of sketchy. But it came together, and I mean, honestly, you cannot tell. It looks so good. Okay, I have question.
I have one thing. I just want to mention this one thing is the BTS, or behind the science.
Behind the science. Behind the science is going to be an incredible component. It's going to be interactive. We're going to have scientists that actually are going to give you the latest and greatest evidence of creationism. That's going to be, but you know what? Before we go, because we only got 3 minutes left, Behind the Science is going to be amazing. It's going to be an amazing component to the series itself. You're going to be able to watch online, and you'll be able to watch the series stream. Then you're going to see the science behind it online. But I've got 2 questions, you guys, and I didn't tell you I was going to do this, but I want to do this. Okay, you're Noah. What is the one animal that you do not let on the ark?
A whale?
No, it's all that. No, that's not right.
I don't know.
I mean, to me, it'd be mosquitoes. I hate those things.
I was going to say mosquitoes, but then there's a problem with that. Mosquitoes are part of the food chain. If you get rid of all the mosquitoes, you also get rid of the frogs. You get rid of the frogs, you get rid of the birds. You get rid of the birds. See how it goes? It's not good.
Even cockroaches.
It's not good.
Even
Cockroaches had to be on there.
They had to be. You know why? Because we would be up to our armpits in leaves.
Okay. All right. So we have one more question before we end this incredible session. I love this. If you could search for one biblical artifact and you would have to risk your life for, what would that one artifact be?
Oh, Indiana Jones, Ark of the Covenant.
That's mine too.
Be careful, it's not copyright. It's copyright.
All right, guys, man, this has been incredible. You guys make sure that you go to strucktheseries.com. Again, purchase merch and also join us for this incredible adventure. It is going to be an adventure, not only the series, but how we put this all together. It's going to be incredible. You've seen some of that, and we would love for you guys to be a part of it. So go to strucktheseries.com. Until next time, make sure you say hello to someone with a smile. That's always very important. And bless you guys. We'll talk to you soon.